I'm sure some of you have heard, I'm sure most of you have heard, probably all of you have heard that Donald Trump, on his first day in office, is going to put in place a 25% tariff on everything coming into the United States from Canada, and a 25% tariff on everything going into the United States from Mexico, and a 10% tariff on everything coming out of China into the United States. That's one of the things that he's promised. Now, in response to that, my Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, he flew with a couple of other folks down to Florida, to Mar-a-Lago, and they had supper with Donald Trump to talk about this plan of his. Now, apparently it went okay. I don't know, except lately Trump, he truthed, whatever that's supposed to mean, but he posted on social media, something along the lines of, to the great governor, Justin Trudeau, of the great state of Canada, he was calling us the 51st state. Now, Canada is its own nation, as I hope most of you know. I hope all of you know. And Justin Trudeau is our prime minister. But Trump was doing this as a flex. He's showing people how tough he is. He's showing people how strong he is. Really, what he was showing us is that he is nothing more than a bully. A few days after he posted that stuff, Elon Musk jumped in and said that Trudeau is an insufferable tool. Now, I've never met Justin Trudeau. He might be an insufferable tool, but it's not something you mentioned. But it's interesting that Musk, who is Trump's lackey, decided that he would jump in as well. And all of a sudden, it reminded me of those movies that, those after school movies we would watch, or those 80 movies we caught in the theaters, where there was the good guy and there was the bully, and then there were the bully's sidekicks, those guys who did everything the bully wanted them to do. And that's how it's reminding me of this, is that these guys are trying to pick on Justin Trudeau. They're trying to pick on the Prime Minister of Canada. A bully is someone who uses what they think are their strengths in order to impose their will upon people they perceive as weaker. And they do it because they're looking to get something out of it. A bully, I don't think I'm saying anything that's out of line. A bully is a disaster of a human being. There's somebody who's going through a whole lot of pain. They're carrying a whole lot of insecurity. They have an incredible amount of anxiety. They're desperate to be rid of these ugly feelings. And so what they do is they use, by tormenting someone else, they try to reduce the negative things that they're feeling. They try to reduce their suffering. They try to reduce their anxiety. They try to reduce their insecurity. Don't you see how tough I am? Don't you see how strong I am? Look at what I can do look at what I do to this person. I can do that to anybody. That's why I'm the best. They desperately want to be perceived as someone who matters. They desperately want to be seen as someone who is great. Because it's the only way they can get beyond those ugly, gross feelings that they just can't seem to do anything about. A bully is someone that we should pity. It's someone that we should have great sympathy for. It's someone that when they choose to change their life, if they choose to change their life, we really should do everything we can to be there for them. Because they are, at the end of the day, they are broken. One of the characteristics of a bully that we're going to talk about today is bullies aren't terribly strategic in their thinking. As a matter of fact, they're not strategic in their thinking at all. All they think is in the short term. Everything is about short-term gain, not the long-term game. I just want these ugly feelings to go away. I just want people to be talking about me. I just want people to see me as strong. I want people to see me as great. I want people to see me as someone not to be trifled with and not to be messed with, especially those people who aren't messing with me and trifling with me. I want people to see me as well, just as awesome. And I can't live without it. Bullies are fools. Because a smart person, a wise person, a prudent person isn't just thinking about the moment. They're not just thinking about the insecurities that they carry. They're not just trying to feed that hungry ghost that resides within them. They understand that feeding the ghost just keeps it there. What you want to do is you want to get rid of the ghost. A prudent person, a wise person, a smart person, a truly strong person, they're thinking far ahead. They're thinking strategically. They're thinking about prosperity, right? Genuine abundance and prosperity. They're thinking about actually achieving something apart from massaging their ego. There's a piece of scripture in Proverbs. It says, the lips of a fool bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. My dad used to say, never let your mouth make a fool of your face. He probably still says it, but he hasn't had to say it to me in a long time. I got the message. Never let your mouth make a fool of your face. So this is Proverbs 18, verses 6 and 7. The lips of a fool bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. The mouths of the fools are their undoing, and their lips are a snare to their very lives. Now, in this case, I think in our world today, we could say thumbs, right? His thumbs. His thumbs invite strife, bring about strife. His thumbs are what bring about conflict. His thumbs are what will be ultimately his undoing and have been his undoing with so many people. And his thumbs is literally the thing that gets him in trouble. This is the life of a fool, and again, this is the life of a bully. They're not thinking far ahead. They're only thinking about the here and now. They just want this momentary release from their anxieties and the things that they suffer for. They just want this moment where they feel relief, where that hungry ghost within inside them isn't crying, isn't screaming for a bottle. So I was thinking about this whole bully thing. And what are you supposed to do with bullies, right? So as a Christian, the first thing is don't be one. A person who's following Christ is not a bully. Never needs to be a bully. And we're not even getting into the whole pacifist thing, right? A Christian needs not force their will onto anyone. That is not one of the fruits of the Spirit. A Christian is actually so secure within themselves or working towards it and so secure in their relationship with God that I don't need to force anything upon anybody. I am completely comfortable. In letting others do their thing, letting others have their way. I am completely comfortable because I am completely occupied in the work that God has called me to do, which is to take care of others, to build relationships, to love people, to help people to grow, to help people to thrive, to help people to prosper, to survive, to heal, to learn. I've got enough work to do. I don't need to worry about how others I don't need to worry about trying to make other people live my way. That's the first thing. Christians are not bullies. And if you see a bully who professes a faith in Christ, there's something off. There's something missing in their Christian journey that would lead them to being a bully. The other thing is, well, how do you stand up to a bully? What do you do with a bully? First off, if you're not the victim, you're the guy who's piling on, don't be. Never follow a bully. They're not going to lead you anywhere prosperous. They're not going to lead you anywhere worthy. They're a fool. And if you follow a bully, you are following a fool. And if you follow a fool, you're going to get the rewards of a fool. You've chosen to follow a fool makes you a fool. Don't do it. And so again, from a Christian perspective, you see somebody who's a bully. You see somebody acting in ways where they're trying to force others to, they're using their strength to force others who are perceived to be weaker to do their bidding, to live their way. That's not a Christian way. Don't move towards it. That's not a Christian way. Don't emulate it. That's not a Christian way. Don't admire it. That's not a Christian way. Don't praise it. That's not a Christian way. Don't enable it. That's not a Christian way. Avoid it. But if you are the victim, and I want to offer this caveat, if you are the victim of a bully, and it's physical violence, it's abusive. That's not what Justin Trudeau, by the way, is going through with this. It's not what Canada, with Trump saying it's about the 51st state and Trudeau being a great governor of the 51st state, the great state of Canada. That's not what he's going through. If you are experiencing abuse, call the police. Get the help you actually need to get out of that situation. This isn't a religious matter. This isn't a spiritual matter. This is you need to be safe. Get safe. Do whatever it takes to get safe. We're talking really in this situation, we're talking about dealing with a fool. So there's a couple of passages here that I also wanted to share with you. The first is, so again, it comes back to a comparison between a fool. The fool, this is Proverbs 12, verse 16. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. So if I were sitting down with Justin Trudeau and he were to say, Ed, what do you think I should do about this Trump guy? Say nothing. Treat him like a mushroom. Keep him in the dark and feed him garbage. Don't take this as an insult. Don't take this as an insult. This is him posturing to his people because he's afraid his people are going to forget him. He's afraid that his people aren't going to see him as the tough guy that he really is desperate for them to see him as. Fools show their annoyance at once, right? Something happens and the fool goes, ah! The prudent? No, that's not how we do this. We're not going to respond. We're not going to react. We're not going to give the bully anything. We're not going to give the bully what the bully really wants. We're going to feed them nothing. We're going to let them starve. The second thing I would say comes from, again, Proverbs 12, chapter 23. The prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly. So Trump comes along and he says, 25% tariff on Canada. What's the Canadian response? What should Trudeau do? He shouldn't have went to Florida, but he did. So what does he do now? Keep your mouth shut. Don't offer threats. Don't offer counter tariffs out loud. What are you going to do? What do you think about Trump's proposal to do this and this and this? I think that'd be a huge mistake, but I can't speak for him, and I don't know. I don't necessarily understand his purpose with this, but Canadians will ask us and expect us to be thoughtful in our considerations going forward. Don't give them anything. We're going to cut this. We're going to do that. We're going to add this. We're going to add that. Nope. Don't say a word. Don't give him anything. He's telling you everything about himself. Don't offer anything in return. Right? A fool will blurt out the first thought in their brain. The prudent knows to keep their mouth shut. That way everything you do will be somewhat of a surprise. But at the end of the day, it really does come down. The message is clear, right? Moving forward, The message is clear. As Christians, we have certain responsibilities. As Christians, as smart people who are wise and people who are strong, people who got it together. Don't get in a back and forth with a fool. It doesn't get you anywhere. Don't go tit for tat with a fool. It doesn't get you anywhere. Don't try to out-bully a bully. It doesn't get you anywhere. Right? Don't try to convince a fool that they're wrong. It doesn't get you anywhere. Just let it be. Zip. Keep it quiet. As a Christian, make sure that you don't fall into the same trap, those same insecurities that you try to require others to live the way you want them to live. You don't require others to bend the knee to you. There's no reason for anybody. There's no reason for any Christian to require others to bend their knee to them, to bow down before them. We are not God. We are not Christ. Satan, as a friend of mine from Portugal said this week, Satan's the only one in the New Testament who requires people to bow down before them, who asks people to bow down before them. Satan's the only one in the New Testament who asks anybody to worship them. I don't need you to worship me. I am secure in my faith. I am secure in my life. I don't need to control you. I don't need you to bend you. I don't need to break you. I don't need you to bow down before me. And when I see people in power and people in authority, when I see people who have means behind them acting like bullies, I'm not going to follow them. We as Christians, people of love, people of faith, we should not follow them. We should not encourage them. We should not enable them. We should see them for what they really are. Weak and pitiful, worthy of sympathy, worthy of prayer. We should speak against it. Because ultimately, those people who are bullies in positions like Trump is, ultimately, well, they'll take us with them if we're not careful. They will absolutely take us with them if we're not careful. If we don't handle him the right way, and again, by that I mean, we're not going to enable, we're not going to praise, we're going to see them for what they really, really are, and we're going to treat them in the ways that they really need us to treat them. As itty bitty babies, broken children. If we don't treat them the way they absolutely need us to treat them, we can be in for some really rough things. Again, from a Canadian perspective to Mr. Prime Minister, shh, don't say anything. Just shh. Let him do his thing. How Americans feel about Canadians is irrelevant. How mega Americans feel about Canadians means nothing. It's not an insult unless you allow it to be an insult. As for his threats on tariffs, we'll deal with it when they come. We'll put a plan together. Will you tell us what that plan is? Absolutely not. How do I finish this talk? You know what? How we finish this talk, it's going to come down to this, because it is something that we should learn from. In the words of a great teacher of mine, a fellow who was immensely important to my ministry and to my formation as a Christian Anglican priest, I'm going to share with you the 3 most powerful words that have ever been shared with me. Don't be a jerk. 4 words, sorry, but don't be a jerk. Whether it's 3 or 4 words, just don't be a jerk. Regardless of how many words it is, don't be a jerk. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Fools act this way, and they show the world exactly who they are. We're not fools. Amen.